Hello, hello. I know many of you are probably saying, what is she doing live today? I've got a lot that's happening in my life today, and I wanted to share some of this information with y'all today. So I'm going to come quickly on here and tell you a little bit about what I am wanting to do. Hey, everybody, I'm Regina, and I want to share some information with you today. And a little bit of what I want to share with you is really to encourage you, but at the same time, I'm encouraging myself too. So let me check this audio and information right here and make sure this is coming through on the feed. And then I'll go ahead and get started, give people a little chance to come in. All right, we're on here. All right, got that there. We're there. All right, we're on here. Okay. So I wanted to go back to doing a little bit of what I like to do. A lot of you understand that I've got a lot of things that I'm enjoying doing. I want to just shout out to Noye Production. Noye Production just did a fantastic interview with myself. They interviewed me for our program that we have, our podcast channel that we have, the Juicy Chatterbox podcast. And it's an exciting podcast. I'm so happy for Noye Production helping us with that. Listen, if you've been trying to get your podcast up and you don't know how to do it, you've probably been trying to do everything yourself, don't know the equipment and all that stuff, just go on over to Noye Production and have them do it. They can be found on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. They will help you get that platform together. But today, the reason why I am here is because I just felt that somebody needs to hear some encouraging words. I've been going through a lot of stuff today, as well as this past week, helping other people out and so forth. But I just felt like it's time for me to get back to something else that I always do, but I have placed it on hold. And I'm gonna change this title real quick. Just a quick, just a quick motivational, okay? Motivational word. All right, I'm gonna save that in here. All right. So let's just save that on here for our motivational tip. All right. Many of you know that I do a lot of Bible studying and teaching and stuff like that. And I have done a lot. And I want to get back to doing a lot of that, sharing the Bible with people. So today, as I was finishing up my interview with Dion and Rome at Noi Production, I said I want to just come on live and just motivate the people, just inspire them, just give them some encouragement. And so I'm going to share some information with you. And I'm right here. I'm going to go to the book of the Bible, go to the Bible. Okay, go to the Bible. And I'm going to Joshua chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1. And I want to go over to verse 9. And then I'm going to go back up to a few other verses. But Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9 says this. It says, I commanded you to be strong and brave. Don't ever be afraid or discouraged. And there's an exclamation point after the word discouraged. It says, I am the Lord your God, and I will be there to help you wherever you go. Part of the thing that I do with my teaching is I give emphasis on what these words are. They're not just words put together just in any type of format. They're put together for a specific, particular reason. And so I like when I do my teaching to try and be as detailed as possible, but also to be simplified enough so that there's a good, easy understanding. Okay. So the reason why I pull this verse up, Joshua chapter 9, Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, is because I myself am trying to build these several platforms of what I'm trying to do with my social media things. And a lot of people out here, they're trying to build their social media platforms and they're basing it on whatever they want to do. Most of it is gossip. Most of it is tearing somebody else down so that the channel person can get clicks and likes and views. And if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do it. But know this, there will be a price you have to pay for doing something that brings harm or judgment to somebody else. And so I have learned on platforms that I'm trying to build, I don't want to be part of that crowd. I want to be part of something that's building someone up, something that's inspiring people, encouraging people, and helping someone to get along in this life where there's so many so-called haters. Okay. So I want to build people up. I want to help encourage people. So that's what you're going to get when you go to my podcast channel, the Juicy Chatterbox Podcast. I share motivational, inspirational tips that are real. We get to the heart of people to try and share information with them to help them know that even through this cruel world, you could still get great success in life and be happy. We try and teach you how to avoid hearing the noise. Today, I want to share some encouraging words to you, to someone out there who may be struggling right now, who may be going through a sad time, a depressed time, and you may not know where to turn, or you're probably saying, God, where are you? Well, he's still where he was. He hasn't left you. And I want to make that known to you. And a lot of times when I come on my platforms, even on my podcast channel, the Juicy Chatterbox, or on my social media platform, the Juice Radio and Talk Show, well, a lot of times what I do, or even with our sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries, a lot of what I try and do is to try and share sometimes things internally that's going on with me, and I share them with you so that we can together get through them. Okay. A lot of times what people do in life when they're going through something, a struggle of their own, they oftentimes try and hide it, don't reveal it to other people because they're ashamed of it, or they feel like it's just not going to help anybody or nobody's going to listen. But I don't do that. I have learned if you share your experiences and the things that you're going through, that the people that are there to encourage you, that are there for you, will actually help you on the journey of getting the healing that you need, or getting the love and support that you need, and won't tear you down. Okay. They won't tear you down. So that's why I try and share a lot of what's going on. Now, again, today I've been hearing this word, Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. I actually posted this on my Facebook page a couple of days ago, because in the mornings I get up, I do my daily scripture reading, and this happened to be one of the verses that came up, and it's very powerful. So I want to share with you and others who are out there to know that, listen, you're not by yourself. All right. So Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9 says, I commanded you. And this is God speaking to the people. And if you read the book of Joshua, you'll understand that the people, they were afraid. They were afraid of their next journey. They were afraid of where they were going to go. They were afraid to do the thing that God told them they could do. They didn't feel like they had the strength to do it. They didn't feel like they had the know-how. They didn't feel like they were able to get to the place where God said they would get to. And I think a lot of you go through the same thing. You may not feel like you're strong enough to do some of the things that you want to do. You may feel like you're not encouraged enough to do some of the things that you can do. So these words, even though they were, some people may say are ancient words, they were written long time ago, they are still real and they still have power. So I want you to take Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, and know that it is also speaking to you. This is God also telling you. Those of you who are trying to build these platforms out here now, this is God speaking to you. Those of you who have business ideas that you're trying to do and you feel like you have setback after setback and nothing's going and you're about to give up, don't give up. Listen more. Listen to this video more, because this is going to help you get to where you need to be. You're listening to this for a reason. You're on this page for a reason. It's specifically for you, specifically for this time. So continue to listen. Share the video with others as well, because other people need to hear this too. But if you feel like just giving up and you're like, forget it, I've been trying, and you're that great person, you feel like, why is all this happening to me? And you just want to give up. No. Maybe that's why I'm on here live today, to let you know that it's not time to give up. It's time to get encouraged. It's time to get your strength. It's time to get your newness to you. God is telling you the same thing he told to the people back in this book of Joshua. He's telling them in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, I commanded you. Now, let me go back into what my teaching is. I'm going to go detailed by these words, okay? This is God telling the people. This is not just some other person, some other human telling the people. This is God saying, I'm putting this command. I'm not asking you to do this. God is saying in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, God is not saying I'm asking you to do this. God is saying I'm commanding you. I'm telling you to do this. That's powerful enough right there. The first few little words. He says, I've commanded you to be strong. God is saying, listen, I know the things you're about to face with the things that are in you, blocking your way. I know what was prepared for you. I've seen it before you saw it. That's what God's telling you. I know the obstacles that you see that are in your way. God's saying, I saw that already. But he says, I also see you. I also see the strength that I have put in you. And I also know that I've equipped you to win. So you all need to stop being afraid. And that's basically what God is saying. He says, listen, ain't nothing out there that I don't know. God said, I know everything that's out there. I've seen everything. But I also know what I have placed in you. You're going to win. So it says over here in Joshua chapter 1 and verse 9, God is saying, I've commanded you to be strong. Now it says, and brave. Now some people might gloss over that and say, okay, strong and brave. No. Don't gloss over it. God is saying, I'm commanding you to do two things. One is I'm commanding you to be strong. That's the first thing. I'm commanding you to be strong. Let's look up the definition of strong. It says, the definition for strong, having the power to move heavy weights or perform other physical demanding tasks. So you basically, God is saying you need to have your strength ready, because there is something, like some people may say, there's a weight that's about to be in the way, and I'm going to need you to be strong enough to move it. Or you need to be strong enough to perform this task that I'm about to have you to do. So God's telling you the first thing you need to do is you need to get your strength ready. You can't go out here trying to achieve greatness in a weak state. If your mind is weak, then your action is going to be weak. You have to get your mind to line up with your body. That's the reason why the mind is one of the powerful things. If you get your mind right, your body will have to line up with what you say. So God is telling you in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, he says, I commanded you to be strong. That's the first thing. So even I'm speaking to myself, Regina, the things that you need to do in life, the platforms that I've commanded you to do, the platforms that I've equipped you to do, all these things that I know that you can do, I want you first to be strong. Get your strength up. Get yourself ready. Get yourself prepared. Get yourself prepared. You know, if you got to eat a great meal, eat a great meal. Whatever it is you need to do, get yourself strengthened. Strengthen yourself up. If you've taken so much time out and you've been weary and sad about situations and things and so forth, you need to maybe get rid of that and build your strength up. Okay? So then the next thing God is commanding the people to do besides being strong, he says, now be brave. Because a person can be strong, but if they see something that scares them, all that strength can be gone. So he says two things. He says, I want you to be strong and I want you to be brave. Let's look up the definition of brave. Brave, the definition says, ready to face and endure danger or pain, showing courage. That's powerful. That is powerful. So first God said, I want you to be strong. Get your strength ready. Get your mind ready. Get wherever you need to pull that strength from, pull it, get it ready. Then he says, I also want you to be brave. And brave, again, the definition for brave says, ready to face and endure danger or pain. So basically what God is telling you, he says, what you're about to do ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy, but you're prepared for it. You're prepared. You have your strength ready, and you need to be brave. Let's read that definition of brave again. It says, ready to face and endure. Now, you're going to face some obstacles along this journey. Thank you, Holy Spirit. We're going to face some obstacles, but we have to be ready. We might endure some danger, or we may have some pain along the journey. You trying to build these platforms. You're trying to get this business going. You're trying to get these ideas going. You're trying to help your family with things that you need. Be brave. You're going to have to face some things, some obstacles. But also this definition of brave says ready to face and endure danger or pain, but showing courage. Showing courage. Showing courage. Even though you may face a great obstacle in your life, even though you may see something that seems fearful in your life, you must always continue to be brave. Even though you see it, you should do like the definition of brave says. It says show courage. Okay? Show courage. And then the next part of Joshua chapter 1 verse 9 says this. It says, don't ever be afraid or discouraged. Now, isn't this just like God to give you two things to do? He tells you two things that you should do, and then he tells you two things that you shouldn't do. I love God and the way he writes this Bible. Tells you two things that you need to do. Be brave. Be strong. And then he tells you two things that you should not do. Don't ever be afraid or discouraged. All right, let's look up this definition of afraid. And this is the way I do my teaching. I like to break it down for you. All right. So the word afraid means feeling fear or anxiety or being frightened. Feeling fear or anxiety or being frightened. Okay. That's being afraid. All right. That's what the word afraid is meaning. And then this other word God says for you not to do is he says, don't be discouraged. All right. So discouraged definition. Discouraged definition means this. Ooh, this is a good one. Discouraged definition means having lost confidence or enthusiasm. You are disheartened. Come on, God. God is saying, I don't want you to be afraid, and I don't want you to be discouraged with what you're about to do. Okay, Lord, I hear you talking. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to be discouraged. Discouraged means having lost confidence or enthusiasm. You have lost confidence probably in yourself because things hadn't happened for you. You lost confidence in the goals and dreams that you had. You don't have that enthusiasm like when you first started that idea. You've lost that enthusiasm. You set it aside because of obstacles that got in your way. You thought you were being blocked when God said, not that you were being blocked, you just weren't ready for it yet. God said, listen, I put up the block because you weren't ready. You needed to hear some encouraging words before you continued on that journey because there are some things that you're going to have to be strong and brave about. God saying, listen, I could have let you continue on that journey to where you wanted to go, but if you didn't hear this word, you probably wouldn't have made it on the journey because I had to let you know that you're not to be discouraged, you're not to be fearful, and you're not to be afraid. God said, I need to let you know this before you take that next step into your journey. No, it's not time to give up on the dream. It's time to get real about the dream. It's time to get real about what it is you want to do. It's time to get real with yourself and real with God. Oh my goodness, this is powerful. I'm enjoying this myself. So Joshua 1, chapter 9. Joshua 1, chapter 9. It says this, and mind you, right, Holy Spirit, God is saying, I'm telling you these words. It's not a person telling you these words. I'm telling you these words. Because a person, you right, Holy Spirit, a person could tell you all day long, listen, man, go ahead and do that job. Go ahead and do that business venture. You got this. You could do it. Go ahead and do it. A person can tell you that all day long. But then when it comes to those trials and tribulations and things that you have to face, like all that money you need to pay for that business venture and all those things you need to learn about that business, that same person that was encouraging you, you could do it, is probably not answering your phone anymore because they don't know how you're going to do it. So God is saying, don't listen to man. God is saying, listen to his voice. If he gave you that idea, he's going to give you the resources and tools and things that you need to get done, you need to use to get done. But he's going to give it to you in his time. But you have to be prepared for what's coming. God was telling the same people in the Bible. He said, listen, I gave your ancestors this land. I told your ancestors that I was giving this to you. So now you're going to have to do some work to get it. I'm excited. I am excited about this. And it says here, now let me go up real quick. I want to go up to verse 6 in Joshua chapter 1, verse 6. It says, and I'm reading in the CEV version, for those of you who are probably asking which version, I'm reading in the CEV. And it says this. It says, long ago, I promised the ancestors of Israel that I would give this land to their descendants. So be strong and brave. Be careful to do everything my servant Moses taught you. This is God talking to the people. He said, listen, he says, I told your ancestors long ago that I was going to give them this land. And God's probably telling you the same thing. I told you I'm going to give this to you. I told your grandmother, I told your aunt, your uncles, I told all of them that this is who you are going to be. He said, but now that they're probably gone because the ancestors were gone, the ancestors couldn't help them. You're right, Holy Spirit. The ancestors could not help them, but who could still help them was God. And God still can help you. You're probably saying, well, my mom's not here anymore to help me. My dad's not here anymore to help me. My best friend is not here anymore to help me. Maybe they're rested in heaven. Who knows what happened, but they're no longer here to help you. But God's saying, I still put that call on your life. He said, I still told you that there are things that you need to do. There's still something that you need to do. There's still that work that you need to do. Yes, they're not here anymore. Just like it said in the book of Joshua, the ancestors weren't there anymore. That's why the ancestors, they weren't there anymore. They're gone. He says, but the call on your life is still there. And the work that you need to do is still there. Come on and talk to myself. I'm not talking to anybody else. The work that you need to do is still there. It's not too late. It's not past due. It's right on time. And God's telling the people, just like he's telling you, just like he told these people. He said, long ago, I promised the ancestors of Israel that I would give this land, this particular land, to their descendants. So be strong and brave. But then he also says this, be careful to do everything my servant Moses taught you. If you have somebody that's trying to teach you something good, and they're a good man and woman of God, or a good person, they're a motivator, they're an inspirational person, and they're true, listen, you might need to listen to that person. Go back over there and listen to them again. Listen to them, because they may have some information that they need to share with you to help you on this journey. Like he said here, he said, I told my Moses, you got do everything my servant Moses taught you. It says, never stop reading the book of the law he gave you. Day and night, you must think about what it says. If you obey it completely, you and Israel will be able to take this land. Now, here's the thing. God told the people this specifically. He says, read what the book of the law is. There are some of you out there that you're not understanding what your journey is. You are going to need to get hooked up to somebody who can help you on that journey. And it needs to be somebody who's going to tell you the truth. You do not need to get hooked up with somebody who's just going to tell you what you want to hear. No, you need to get hooked up with someone who's going to tell you the truth. Because on the journey of things that you want to do in your life, and it goes ambitions and things that you need to do in life, you're going to need a truth teller in your circle. A truth teller. And it says here in the book of Joshua, it says in verse 8, it says, if you obey it completely, you and Israel will be able to take this land. So you're not going to be able to do the things that you need to do unless you do some obedient things that you're supposed to do. That's basically what it's saying. You have to be obedient in what you need to do. And then back to our main verse, chapter 9 and Joshua chapter 1, it says, God is saying, I commanded you to be strong and brave. Don't ever be afraid or discouraged. I am the Lord your God. and I will be there to help you wherever you go. Now, here's the key. God is saying he is God. Nobody else in your circle is God but God. Okay? So sometimes you got to understand the voice of God to know who God is and what God is telling you to do. And then it says, God is saying this, and I will be there to help you wherever you go. So God's saying, even though those people aren't there anymore, those people aren't in your life anymore, those people aren't there to help you, other people may have left you or nobody believes in you, God is saying, I'm still there. And I still believe. And I still will do what I promise I'm going to do. It's not what the people promise, it's what God promised. So God is telling you in verse 9, he said, I'm still there. I never left. He said, I'm still there. He said, and not only am I still there with you now, but wherever you go, I'm still going to be there with you. I'm still going to be there with you. Then it says over here in Joshua chapter 1, verse 10. So after Joshua's listening to God, Joshua's doing this. He said, Joshua ordered the tribal leaders to go through the camp and tell everyone, in a few days we will cross the Jordan River to take the land that the Lord our God is giving us. So prepare as much food as you need for the march into the land. So Joshua telling the people, now Joshua got hyped. Because Joshua heard the voice of God, but you right, Holy Spirit, not only did Joshua hear the voice of God, Joshua believed the voice of God. Joshua also believed what he heard. So Joshua got encouraged enough to go and motivate and inspire the people. He said, let me take this word that I got from God and let the people know we're going in here without fear. And we're going to take what's ours. Now, sometimes in life, you have to go in the spirit and in the natural. You have to physically take what's yours. Now, don't get messed up in this judicial system by doing stuff illegally. So the motivator on the social media channel told me to go back and take what's mine. You know what the laws are and the rules are and the things you need to do. Do it the legal way. Don't try and use this audio or this video to try and get you to do something that's illegal. No, do what is right and you'll get what's yours and you get to be able to keep it. Do what is wrong, you may get what's yours and you may end up losing it again. Do what is right. So Joshua encouraged the people. Joshua was a great motivator. He inspired the people. He told them, he said, Joshua ordered the tribal leaders. He said, now you leaders, you go throughout the camp and tell everyone in a few days, we will cross the Jordan River. We're going to do this. That what y'all were afraid of, we're about to make this thing happen. And I believe that what you were afraid of today, you're about to start the process of making that thing happen. He says, in a few days, we will cross the Jordan River to take the land that the Lord our God is giving us. Now, some of those things, and I want you to understand this. In life, some things you're going to have to fight for. Some things you're going to have to spiritual battle for. Some things you're going to have to not give up on. Some things you're going to have to have courage for and not be discouraged. You're going to have to get ready to do what it is you need. And you're right, Holy Spirit, along the way, you're going to face some things that will make you afraid. But the Bible tells us in Joshua chapter 1, he says, don't be afraid. So what God is basically telling you is, I know some things are going to come that are going to look fearful, but don't be fearful. He's already preparing you. Okay? So to go finish the conclusion, Joshua chapter 1, verse 11. He says to go through the camp and tell everyone, in a few days we will cross the Jordan River to take the land that the Lord our God is giving us. God already gave it to them, but it was held up. And now God's saying to them, I'm about to release it, but you're going to have to go over there and cross some obstacles to get it. Your business ventures, your ideas, your hopes, your dreams, your inspirations, your aspirations, everything that you've been trying to do, and you feel like nobody is there with you. Nobody is there promoting you. Nobody is supporting you. Nobody is having you on their platforms. That's all right. God's about to build your own platform. God's about to get you already inspired. God's about to put you up there. And you're going to have to build you a platform instead of trying to step on somebody else's platform. God's saying, listen, you don't need to step on somebody else's platform. I'm about to build you your own. He said, I already gave it to you. I already knew this was in your heart before you even born. I knew this was a journey you were going to take. So I already prepared it for you. But now it's time for you to gear up, get courage, be brave, and go and get it. I love that. I love that. And then the latter part of verse 11 in Joshua chapter 1, it says this. So prepare as much food as you'll need. You're right, Holy Spirit. Food is also the substance where you get your strength. Food is the substance from which you get your strength. So Joshua is smart. He's not telling the people, okay, come on, we just gonna go and we're not gonna prepare. You gotta prepare for stuff. Joshua told them, go ahead, get as much food as we're gonna need. We're gonna need our strength for what we're about to face. So get your strength together. And then it says, so prepare as much food as you'll need for the march into the land. He said, because we're about to march into this land. And when we march into this land, we need to be able to have our strength to take that, which is rightfully ours anyway. I love it. I love this. Hey, I'm going to be coming back to give you some more encouraging words on this chapter, because this is a really good chapter to be encouraged and motivated and inspired. And I want you to get focused on some ideas and dreams that you yourself want to do. You may have had some goals and dreams and stuff that have laid by the wayside and you don't even know where they are anymore. But I believe that God is going to give you some direction to where you need to go back and pick it up. There may have been something that your grandmother wanted to do. There may have been something that your elders wanted to do, your ancestors wanted to do. And now you have that call on you. Because remember, Moses was the one who was leading the people into the land, but Moses died. Yeah, read the chapter. Read it, Joshua chapter 1. But Moses unfortunately passed away. So now it was up to Joshua to continue that which Moses had started. And what was the nice part about it is Joshua was equipped to do it. Oh, now the call was on Moses to start it. But to finish it, the call was on Joshua. Oh my goodness. Some of you need to look back into your ancestral history and find out what some of your ancestors had started to do, and then see if you're the one that's equipped to pick up and get it done. Oh my goodness. That's going to be a powerful thing. I'm going to have to look back on my ancestral history and see my ancestry. Okay, what did somebody stop doing that I need to pick up and do? Something that I'm equipped to do. Something that God said I'm made to do. Okay, my ancestors, that was a goal and a dream. But it's about time that goal and that dream be resurrected and to continue on. What is it that I can do that I know God has called me to do and equipped me to do? What is it? And I believe that God's going to tell you exactly what it is. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. If you start getting afraid or if you start getting discouraged, I want you to do this. I want you to go to Joshua chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 9. And it says this: I've commanded you to be strong and brave. Don't ever be afraid or discouraged. I am the Lord your God, and I will be there to help you wherever you go. Get your daily inspiration over here at the Juice Radio and Talk Show, and join us as we continue to motivate and inspire you with our podcast channel, the Juicy Chatterbox Podcast. This is a phenomenal podcast, and it's here to help you to get inspired and to know that your days, not just your day, but your days, plural, is going to be great, are going to be great. Tune in on these major platforms, Spotify, Apple, iPod, all these things. Every place that has a podcast channel. And if you go to a podcast channel and they don't have the Juicy Chatterbox on there, I want you to contact them and tell them, how can we get the Juicy Chatterbox podcast on your channel? All right. I want to thank our sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries. Thank you so much, Truth and Triumph Ministries, for all that you do to help support this channel. We thank you for keeping it all truthful. I love it. The Juice Radio and Talk Show is here to inspire, encourage, and uplift people to know the truth. It's not a gossip channel. It's all about the truth. Thank you again for joining us. And remember, we're also going to have our Happy Marriage series on Friday evenings that we love to do. And this Thursday, we're going to have a special guest that we're interviewing, and you'll see that in the links below. And I want you to tune in. But I want you to stay encouraged. I want you to know that God still loves you. He does love you. He hasn't forgotten about you. Even in your mess, God still loves you. But he was probably waiting for you to get out that mess so that you can become the greatness that he designed you to be. Sometimes we have to get a little messy, but with God and through God, we get cleaned up and we can go on to do great things. Join me on this channel daily. I'm going to try and be on here daily as much as I can, but join us and share this video with others. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show, please do that today, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. Remember to look for the red cup. There's a red cup in the logo. Look for the red cup and follow and subscribe to the channel. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and all those other channels, all right? Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you, and I pray that you have a wonderful, blessed day.